All right, Trading with the Enemy Act 1917, Act October 6, 1917, Chapter 106, Title 40, Statute 440, 411. Section 1, Designated Act. 2, Definition Act. Prohibited. 4, Licensed enemy and allying enemy insurance, reinsurance companies changing name, doing business in the United States. Suspension prevention relating to ally of enemy, regulation, transaction, foreign exchange, gold, silver, property transfer, vested interest, enforcement penalties, lien property custody with the general power duties, increment expands over of the alien property custodian, omitted list of the enemy's ally, enemy officer of the director of the stockholder corporation of the United States acts of the constitutionally trade with the enemy prior to the passage of the act, conveyance of property with the custodian, voluntary payment with the custodian by holder of the action with the order of the rule and regulation, contracts, mortgages, pledges against with the enemy, with the ally of the enemy, abrogation, contract suspension of the limitation, claims of property transfer of the custodian, notice of the claim filing, return of the property, suits of the recovered sale of the claim property of the time of the war during National Emergency Acts, permitted the application of the patent, registration, trademark, copyright, payment of tax, relation thereto, licensed under enemy-owned patent or copyright statements by the licensed term of the cancellation, suits against license, restrain infringements, power of attorney, keep the secret inventions, importation, prohibited the property transfer of the alien product, custodian statements for the master vessel, owners of the cargo before granting clearance, false manifest of the refusal clearance, reports of the gold and silver coin cargoes for export. 15, omitted. Offenses, punishment, forfeiture, property for rule of the district courts, appeals, jurisdiction court, Philippines, Canal Zone, offensive, prints, new paper, publication, foreign language, fees, agents, attorney, representative of the claims, naturalized citizens, effect of the exportation, fugitive, the justice bar of the recovery, payment of income, etc. with the alien property custodian, payment of taxes, expense for the alien property custodian, investments of the custodian, and participating certificates issued Secretary of the Treasury, transfer to all payments from the German, Austrian, and Hungarian special spouse accounts, allocation property payments, allocation on unallocated interest fund, report, return to custodian United States payments for the under license assignment sales and patents, unlisted allocated interest funds, defined waiver, custodian demand of property acceptance, less amount approval of Attorney General, attachment garnishment of fund property held by the custodian member of former ruling party, define return of property, notice of claim, institution of suits, computation of time, paying of debts, hearing of claim, rules, regulations, delegation of power, taxes, insurance, property shipment, relief, supply, definition, retention, property to interest of Germany, Japan. These nations provide procedures covered in the Treasury Gratia payments of Switzerland, intercustodial conflicts involving the enemy property authority of president to include delegation authority, divestment of the state's trust insurance policy, annuities, reminders, pensions, workmen's compensation, veterans benefits, exemption, notice for the disinvestment, claims procedure, sales, certain certificate, jurisdiction limitation, divestment of the copyrights, defined right of licenses, assignees, reproduction rights to the United States, transfer interest payments of the royalties, attorney general suit for the infringement, divestment of the trademark, motion picture, prints, and transfer of the title, termination of the World War, or termination of World War an emergency, the trading of the NEME expressly expected with the operation effective the Joint Resolution March 3rd, 1921 is Chapter 13640, Title 41, Statute 1359, claiming certain acts of the Congress Joint Resolution proclamations should be construed that the World War has ended and the present existing emergency expired. 1. Designation Act. The Act is in Section 1 through 6 and 7 through 39, 41 through 44. Appendix should be known as the Trading with the Enemy Act. Statute protection of the policy hold of the United States wherever the nature of the marine and war risk, the issuance of the conducting much of the necessity to be in touch with the movements of ship and cargo is considered with the government with the greater importance of the information should not be obtained with the alien enemies. Therefore, I, Woodrow Wilson, President of the United States, may virtue of the powers vested in me as such for the hereby declare the proclaim the branches such branch establishment of the German insurance companies now engaged with the transaction business with the United States pursuant to the laws of several states of the United States pursuant to the laws of several states of the hereby prohibited with the continuing transaction of the business of marine and war risk insurance either indirectly insure for the reinsurers all individual firms and insurance companies incorporated under the laws of any states or territories of the United States for any foreign country that establishes pursuant to laws of the states and now engaged in the United States in business of the marine and war risk insurance, either with a direct insurance of the reinsurers, hereby prohibited for reinsuring the companies incorporated under the laws of the German Empire, no matter where located, all persons of the United States are prohibited from insuring against marine and war risk insurance companies incorporated under the laws of the General Empire, German Empire over the individual's firm and insurance companies within incorporated with the laws of any of the state of the territory of the United States and foreign country with now engaged in the business of marine war risk insurance of the United States for the reinsuring business originating in the United States of the companies incorporated with the laws of the German Empire, no matter where located, the foreign prohibition extended operate to all existing contracts and insurance reinsurance which are hereby suspended for the period of the war, except that they shall not operate, violate, prevent insurance reinsurance payment, recipient or reinsurance over the payment over the receipt of the premiums on the insurance of reinsurance under the existing contract of the vessel interest at the risk of the date of the proclamation. Such insurance or reinsurance over this voyage shall continue into the force of until an arrival destination at for time until 30 days of the day of the proclamation. 5. Suspension provision protecting relating to ally enemy regulating transaction foreign exchange of the gold and silver, the property transfer, vested interest, and enforcement penalties. The President shall find that incompatible with the safety of the United States with the successful prosecution of the war made proclamation suspend with the provisions of the Act with Section 1367 through 39, 41 through 44 of this appendix. So far, they apply to the ally enemy, revoke with a renew the suspension from the time to time when the President may grant a license and special general, temporary, or otherwise for such a period of time containing such provisions conditions shall prescribe that do any with a person, class, or person do business provide subsection A of the Section 4 thereof, Section 4A of the appendix to perform any act made unlawful without license, section thereof, the Section 3 appendix to file with the prosecute applications under subsection B of the section of the 10 thereof, the Section 10B of the appendix here may revoke renew licenses from time to time and shall be open be an opinion for such of the grant revocation renewal shall be compatible with safety of the United States and successful prosecution of war. He makes such rules and regulations consistent with the law made necessary for the proper to carry out the provision of the Act. Said sanction, President may exercise with any power or authority conferred with the Act. Said sanction, thus such officer of the officer shall be its right. If the President shall have the reasonable cause to believe that any act is performed in violation of this section thereof, Section 3 of the appendix, he shall have the authority to under postponement over the performance of such an act of the period not exceeding 90 days pending with the investigation of facts by him during the time of the war. President may therefore any of the agency may designate with the under such rules and regulations may prescribe the means of the instruction and licenses otherwise investigate, regulate, or prohibit any transaction for exchange, transfer, credit, and payments between and by through or to any banking institution importing, exporting, hoarding, melting, any or marking of gold and silver coin or bullion, currency, or security, investigating, regulated, directing, comply with, nullified, void, preventing, prohibited any acquisition, holding, withholding, using, transferring, withdrawing, transporting, importation, exportation, dealing, exercising any right, power, privilege, respect, transaction involving any property with a foreign control, national thereof, any interest by any person of the respect of the property of the country, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, name of the property of the interest of foreign country, national thereof, shall thus and upon the term described by the President, such agency, a person may designate with the time to time by the President upon such term condition, when the President may describe the interest of the property shall be held with the administrator, liquidated, sold with the otherwise dealt with the interest and over the benefit of the United States. Such designated agency person may perform any of the all ends with the accomplishment furtherance of the purpose of the President shall with the manner of the hereby provided with the require any of the person keep the full record of the furnished under oath and perform over the reports otherwise complete information relative to the act of the transaction for the subdivision either before, during, and after the completion thereof the relative to the interest of foreign property relative to any of the property in which any foreign country or national thereof has had interest and may otherwise be necessary for the enforced provisions of subdivision any of the case which report could be required. President may in the manner hereby there provide require any of the production necessary for the national security of the or defense, seizure of any books of the account, record, contract, letters, memorandum, or other papers of custody with the control of such person. Any payment, conveyance, transfer, assignment, delivery of property with the interest thereof made from an account with the United States otherwise directed pursuant to subdivision, any of the rule, regulation, instruction, direction issued here under should be the extent of the full acquaintance to serve with all the purpose of obligation person making the same. No person shall be held liable in court or for or in respect to anything done or omitted in good faith in connection with the administration of the pursuant of Reliance subdivision, any of the rule, regulation, instruction, direction that here under as In the subdivision term of the United States, meaning the United States over the Indian states and subject jurisdiction, provided, however, the foregoing shall not contribute a limitation of power over the President of the hereby conferred to the prescribed at the time of definitions not inconsistent. Purpose of the subdivision for any of all of the term subdivision, you the subdivision term person, meaning the individual partnership or association or corporation. Authority granted with the President's sanction does not include the authority to regulate or prohibit directly, indirectly importation for any country or exportation into any country, whether the commercial or otherwise, regardless of the form of the media transmission. Any information materials included but not limited to publication, film posters, photograph records, photographs, photography, microfilms, microfilms, tapes, compact discs, CD-ROMs, artworks, news, wire feeds, exports exempted. Regulation prohibition paragraph did not include those with the otherwise control of the export. Section 5 of the Export Administrative Act of 1979 or under Title 6 of the Act. The extent of such controls promote with the non-proliferation or anti-terrorism policy of the United States with respect to which acts prohibited in Chapter 37 titled 18 United States Code. Alright, codification, amendments, delegation functions, limitation of emergencies, authorities, expansion of termination national emergency powers of the Trading with the Enemy Act, continuation exercise certain authorities under the Trading with the Enemy Act. George W. Bush, determination, President numbers, World War II, alien property custodian, approval registration, executive orders. 6. Alien property custodian general powers and duty with the President authorized with the appointment of the prescribed with the duty with the fixed salary of the officer shall with the doing with the alien property custodian who shall be empowered to receive all of the money and property with the United States due with the belong with any of the enemy, ally of the enemy, which may be paid with the day of the transfer, the time of delivered to say custodian under the provision of the Act, sections 1 through 6, 7 through 39, 41 through 44, as depending with the whole of the administrator account the same and under the general direction of the President provided with the Act. Said sanction President may further employ with the District of Columbia elsewhere with a fixed compensation such clerks, attorney, employee with investigators' accounts, other employees he may find necessary to do with administrative of the provision of the Act, save the sanction provided with such clerk investigation. Investigators' accountants, the other employees shall be appointed with a list of the eligible to be supplied with the Civil Service Commission in accordance with the Civil Service Law. Reference to the text, codification, amendments, transfer of functions, expense compensation, ally property custodian, report Congress inclusion claims filed under Section 32A2D of the Appendix Executive Order Number 9095. Reference of text, codification, transfer functions, false manifest refusal clearance reports, gold, silver, coins, cargoes, and export. During the present war, whenever the reasonable for the cause of the benefit of the manifest of the additional statement of the oath required of the preceding section, Section 13, Appendix of the air false, that any of the vessel, domestic or foreign, is about to carry with the United States any of the property with the account and benefit of the enemy, ally, enemy, of the property person who exports taking out of the transport with a violation of the law, collector of the custodian district, such vessel located with the authorizing power subject with a review of the President refuse clearance by the President to refuse clearance any of the such vessel, domestic, foreign, for which clearance is required by law. Formal notice to serve with the owner's master or person or with the person command in charge of any of the domestic vessels which clearance is not required by law to forbid the departure of such vessels of the port shall be thereby with the unlawful of such vessel will depart. Collector of the customs shall with the during of the present war with each case report with the present amount with the gold and silver, the coin, billion, other money of the United States contained within any of the cargo intended to export. Such reports shall include the name and addresses of the consignees together with any fact with the name of the collector with a reference to such of the shipment, in particular those which with the indicate with the gold and coin, silver, coin, billion, money of the United States may be the intent of deliver, may deliver directly and indirectly enemy of the ally, any ally of the enemy. 15 omitted after transfer of function. 15 omitted codification. 16 offense with a punishment, forfeiture of the property. Whosoever the willfully violating of the provisions of the Act, section 1 through 6, 7 through 39, 41 through 44 of the appendix, any of the license rules, regulations issued there under the whosoever the shall with willfully violate, neglect with the refuse to comply with the order of the President issued with the complying with the provision Act said sanctions shall up to with conviction not fine more than $1 million or a natural person may be fined not more than $100,000 or imprisoned for more than 10 years, or roll for the officer, for the director, for the agent of the corporation knowingly participates. So this violation shall, upon the conviction of not more than fined not more than $100,000 or imprisoned not more than 10 years, or both. Civil penalty not exceeding $50,000 may be imposed by the Secretary of Treasury upon any of the person who violates any license, order, rule, regulation, including compliance. Prisoner Act, Section 16 through 739, 41 to 44, Appendix. Any property, funds, security papers, other articles, documents, and vessels, together with the tackle, apparel, furniture, the equipment, and subject violation under Paragraph 1, shall, with the direction of the Secretary of Treasury, forfeited to the United States government. The penalty provided under this subsection may be imposed only on the record after opportunity agency hearing in accordance with Section 554 through 557 of Title 5 United States Code of the right of pre-hearing and discovery. Judicial review of penalty imposed under the subsection may have an extent with the provision of Section 702 Title 5 United States Code. Upon conviction, any property, funds, security paper, that any other article of the documents, any vessel, together with the tackle, apparel, with the furniture, with the equipment concerned with the violation of subsection A may be forfeited in the United States. Amendments. Rules by district. Appeal of the district of the court of the United States of the given the jurisdiction make of and enter all of the rules of the notes otherwise such of the order of the decree of the issue of the process of the main industry of the property premise of the enforce of the provisions of the Act, Section 1 through 6, 7 to 39, 41 to 44 of the appendix of the right to appeal of the final order decree of the of the court provided within Section 128 of the 238 of the Act of the March 3rd, 1911 entitled an Act to codify with a revive of amend the laws relating to the judiciary. Reference in text, 18 jurisdiction court of Philippines canal zone of offenses. Several of the courts of the first instance of the Philippine Island of the District Court of the Canal Zone jurisdiction offense for the under of the Act, Section 1 through 6, 7 through 39, 41 through 44 were committed with the respect of the district with the concurrent with the jurisdiction district code of the United States of the offense of the Act, commitment upon with the high seat of the conspiracy of the commitment of such offense of the directed in Section 37 of the Act, and Act of the codified with the revised amendment of the penal laws of the United States approved of the March 4th of 1909, prohibited sanction for the further purpose of the acts, and said sanctions are extended to the Philippine Islands and to the Canal Zone. That was a quick look at the Trading with the Enemy Act of 1917.